Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the Almighty Dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2023 Valspar Championship. This is my Before the Lock show. I've got some updates for you. We're going to talk about weather. We're going to talk about flight advantages. We're going to also check out ownership projections. So with all that said, give me about 15-20 minutes. I'll get you this information, and that'll allow you to lock in those final DFS lineups and maybe make a final bet. Okay, with that said, let's go talk a little golf. Okay, so actually I had this information that came from the PGA, and I thought it was kind of interesting. It's really all statistics about the Snake Pit, which is the final three closing holes at Innisbrook Resort, the Copperhead course. And of course on 16, 17, 18, it's got the names of the snakes: Moccasin, Rattler, Copperhead, whatever. But in short, if you're interested, as you probably know, it is a tough stretch, those final three holes. And if you remove the majors, it is the third toughest stretch of closing holes. So what does that mean? A bit of volatility can happen on the final holes. Now, one thing it did note, and this is stroke gain data that has been pulled, or Shotlink data, I should say, that's been pulled since 2003. And it wasn't that tough last year. So it's showing about a half a stroke average over. If you look at last year, it was 0.15. So for whatever reasons, I'm guessing a little bit might be weather and just how the course was playing, but it didn't play as tough. So just a side note. But what also I thought was interesting is a few guys in this field, we can kind of see how they've done and how many rounds they played on these three finishing holes. Of course, Davis Riley last year went 4 under par over the 4 rounds he played on those three, so that's pretty solid. I believe Max McGreevy is in the field and did okay at the Puerto Rico Open. But again, he's only got 4 rounds there and went 3 under. So also pretty solid. My buddy Blackbeard Michael Thompson. Now he's got quite a bit more rounds, and that's a little more interesting to me, because if you play 20 rounds on those 3 holes and still end up 3 under, that's a positive. You've got JT also in the field, 18 rounds, also coming in the same at 3 under. No Koepka, Bradley Hughes, Tyler Duncan is in the field, had 12 rounds on those 3 finishing holes. 2 under. Austin Smotherman's in the field, 2 under, only 4 rounds. Sahith Theegala is not in the field that I noticed. No Tiger Woods. And Andrew Skoboda, which I think that guy plays hockey. I didn't know he played golf. Yeah, he's not in the field. All right, and then if you want to know the guys at the highest score to par on the Snake Pit since 2000, again, pretty much back when Shotlink data started. Well, not even that. I guess Shotlink data started, collecting in 2004. They went back 2007. Doesn't matter. And then also, if you're interested on the guys that have struggled with the last 3 holes, the Snake Pit at Innisbrook Copperhead, and you also got to kind of take in a note that this is guys that have played quite a few rounds of golf. But if we look through, you got Charlie Hoffman, the Hofster, 39 over par, but that's 48 rounds. Lucas Glover, my buddy, smell the glove, plus 34 over 58 rounds. Stewie Sinks in the field, 30 plus 32 over 58 rounds. And I don't think, maybe Brian Gay's in the field. I didn't check, but plus 26 over 59 rounds. So anyways, I don't know. If you see a guy that you were kind of interested in and we're thinking about playing, and, can this skew you one way or the other? I don't know. I don't know if it really changed my mind, but I thought it was kind of interesting. So just a little further information for you. All right. What we also really need to focus on is the weather. And I talked quite a bit about this yesterday, but we're going to dive into a little more, because it's changed a bit, right? So I think at one time Friday was showing thunderstorms in the afternoon from what they were saying, but now that's moved to Saturday. But still, if you, and we're going to go into more specifics, but we've got this wind that's going to be coming up on Friday, and then we've got showers for sure on Saturday. Hopefully we don't have any cancellations, but this gust up to 30, that's new. And then they're showing gust up to 25, and then maybe a little bit calmer but cooler on Sunday with possible little bit of rain again. But if we go into hour by hour for at least Thursday, Friday, that's kind of where I'm most interested. And this is being pulled out of Windfinder. And if you're interested, you want to pull Greens Bayou, Crystal Beach. And where I think there's an advantage is if you see pretty much after 1 o'clock, the wind dies down considerably. And this is about the time the guys should be finishing, at somewhere around 6:37. But if you look in the morning for Thursday, which is, kind of rare, right? I mean, typically the morning is the calmest. Is saying possibly gust up to 29 on Thursday morning. Now, again, that's what Windfinder is telling me. And so if you're going to build some teams, you might want to look at this, because the PM AM might be the way to go. Now, it's not that on Friday there's that much of an advantage. It looks pretty steady, blowing anywhere from 10 to 15, and then gust, I guess, somewhere from, I guess, 17 up to 28. Is there an advantage? Huge. I think there could be a little. So all I'm saying is I'll probably put some teams in PMA. I mean, I kind of already talked about that yesterday, but I wanted to give you a little more details on that. And again, go to Windfinder, pull up Greens Bayou, Crystal Beach. You can do your own analysis and make your own decisions on, is there something there or not. And then with that stated, I thought, well, why don't we take a quick look against my model that I created. And you got a filter within Fantasy National that you can put on, which is called Windy AF as fuck. And I took the last 12 rounds. So it stayed pretty recent because if you think about it, right? I mean, you've got maybe one round at the Players, one round at Arnold Palmer, whatever it is, over the last probably 6 months, there's been at least probably 12 rounds of golf that has qualified to be super windy when they're playing. And also, side note, you're going to notice, and I tweeted this out, that Keegan Bradley withdrew from the tournament, which is, I think a lot of people are probably going to be playing him. And also Aaron Rai, which I called out yesterday. Somehow Fantasy National already had visibility to that, but he has also withdrawn. You'll see it within DraftKings if you're playing DraftKings. Both those guys have a WD, and there was another guy that withdrew, but nobody that we're really going to play anyway, so it doesn't even come to mind. With all that said, if you're curious of guys, the top 15, well, technically top 14 because remove Keegan Bradley, who have done well against my model, and that's ball striking, fairways gained, approach around the green, putting, the long par threes, the proximity, 175, 200, bogey avoidance and scrambling, and you can see the weighting there if you're curious. Number one, Adam Hadwin, which, we're already kind of were on him. He does have an early morning tee time. You got JT, early morning tee time. Nick Taylor's got an afternoon. Ryan Moore, you can see the tee times right next to their name if you're curious. Adam Long. You got Webb Simpson, Robert Streb, Trey Mullinex. Kyle Westmoreland has only got 2 rounds under crazy windy conditions, so take that with a grain of salt. Gary Woodland, Brian Harmon, Justin Rose, Ryan Armour, and Matty Wallace. Matty Wallace to me is a little interesting. Of course, he's played quite a bit on the European Tour. That's where he kind of cut his teeth, and has been playing a little more within the last couple of years on the PGA Tour. But one of the comparable courses that I was most interested in, of course, there was Sanderson Farms at CC Jackson, but the other was the Valero Open, which is at TPC San Antonio, the AT&T Oaks course. Matty Wallace, now I got to remember, I don't know if it was a year or 2 years ago, had a chance to win that tournament and kind of fell apart a little bit on Sunday. So it's kind of 2 notes, right? I mean, he's got European ties, can handle the wind, at least from what, this is stating, and also has a good comparable course. So low price, 6,800. So might be someone you're interested in playing if you're down in that area. Again, I don't know how much we have to go down in that range due to we don't really have a whole lot at the top that I'm super excited about. Okay, with that said, I'm going to go jump over into Fantasy National. Let's go look at ownership projections, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Okay, so I've hopped over into Fantasy National, and if you've not seen this before, but I'll show you real quick. Number one to look at, I just updated this. You know what, while we're here, let's update it again because it was about 5 minutes ago and see if we get any more data. Nope, things did change because Justin Rose somehow went to the highest owned. So real short, what we're looking at is people within Fantasy National. As always, you can pick your favorite players. You can then put that into a CVS file, build your teams, and then pump that into, of course, DraftKings. And that's the number here. That's what I judge the data by because those are actual lineups being created. Now, can they change those lineups? I guess technically they could go back and do that, but pretty good data. And then the number we want to look at is over here. So right now we've got 5 of the chalkiest, and this was at 4. So I think what happened was probably from the withdrawals, a lot of people have made some changes and went from Keegan to Justin Rose, which I would guess was pretty similar in price, if I remember. Let me see, they have it. Yeah, 9,400. So bumped it up to Justin Rose. So right now, him and Wyndham Clark are your 2 chalkiest players. Then followed by Tommy Fleetwood, JT, Jordan Spieth. So that's the 2 top guys, which, now no shocker that Fitzy, which I'm actually kind of interested in playing under these conditions. Hopefully things work out there. But also no Burnsy. He's going to be moved down again just under recent form. And then you got to Adam Hadwin, Justin Suh, who's been playing great golf. There's Fitzy at 17. You got Ben Griffin, just been real stable. Then, you got a pretty drop to Dylan Wu at 6,800. I think that's everybody's favorite value play. So that's going to be interesting if that little chalk bomb blows up. You got Nate Lashley, Stefan Yeager, Brandon Wu, Gary Woodland, Davis Riley, Eric Cole. I think you can see Ben Wyatt. Burns is coming in at 11%, 11.6. Benny Martin, Taylor Moore. Let's see what our Ben Taylor is coming in at. Ben Taylor is coming at 7%. And I want to see anybody else that I was kind of interested in. Neesmith at 5%. Trey Molinex at 5%. I'm just kind of scrolling through Nick Hardy. There's your Aaron Rye, WD. And I think the reason why you're seeing these are afternoon tee time guys. There's my buddy Dylan Fratelli. I will be playing some of him, so we'll see how that all works out. Also, I mentioned he was my Spidey Tingling bet, and along with Will Gordon, which I didn't see him on here. Let me take a quick look. I want to know where Gordon's coming in at. 7.2% is his ownership projection. Kind of get an idea. I mean, I feel like it's going to be very top heavy that the ownership lies, because then after that, I don't know, anywhere after like the 8,000 range, you are pretty much have a, 50-50, maybe worse chance that the guy's going to get through. So anyways, I wanted to pass that along to you so you have some ownership projections. And that's it. That's all I really wanted to cover for you guys. The pressers, maybe they're out now, but there was nothing out yesterday. And it's only a couple guys, 4 total. But I'll, if I see something, I'll tweet it out. But all I was looking for was to get confirmation on how the course was playing. That's really it. I mean, the guys are never going to state, hey, my game's in disarray or anything like that. But sometimes you get a nugget or two. So, all right, guys, let's jump out and wrap this thing up. Okay, with that said, I know that was a really quick show, but I didn't really have a whole lot more to cover with you guys. And it is the Valspar. I mean, it's kind of a little, I'm super excited about the WGC, and then we got the Masters. So I'm already a little bit, my brain's already starting to think in those two tournaments. And I will probably be heavier on the betting, because I do feel like there's an opportunity, kind of like the Honda, that we could have, an upset or a long shot hit. So that's exciting. So more of my money is going to go that side. I'll play a little bit of DFS, more probably on the Showdown, put a few teams into the large GPP, but it's going to be a little lighter. I'm going to save some bullets for WGC, Dell Match Play, and of course for Augusta. If you look on DraftKings, they already got the Millie Maker out at a $15 entry, and I think 300,000 plus. So a lot like if you play fantasy football on DraftKings, it's very similar to the games that you'd be involved there. So anyways, thanks guys. Click that like button, share with anybody else, and if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter to keep all the updates. As I mentioned, I probably was the first one to break that Aaron Rye was WD for the tournament, and that has come to fruition. And of course, Keegan Bradley, and if anything else happens, it'll be announced on Twitter from my side. All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend, and good luck to all.